In the streets of Singapore's Geylang district, a brutal crime etched a chilling chapter in the city's history. You're listening to True Crime Tales, where we unravel the gruesome story of the Tan siblings' Geylang murders. I'm Huda binti Abdullah. On 6 January 1979, parents Tan Queen Chai and Lee Mei Ying entered their home to a horrifying sight. The slashed and mutilated dead bodies of their 4 children, Chin Ni, Kok Peng, Kok Hin, and Kok Sun, piled on top of one another in the bathroom. The 4 children, aged 5 to 10, were found violently murdered in the bathroom of their home of Block 58, Geylang, Bahru. The murders remain unsolved to this day. But how did this all begin? It was 6:35 a.m. or 6 January 1979. The Tans left their home as usual for work. They ran a bus service ferrying children to school. The Tans left their home to start the day after kissing their 4 children goodbye. Little did they know, it would be the last time the couple would see their children alive. At 7:10 a.m., Mrs. Tan telephoned home to wake the children up for school. But no one answered. After multiple attempts with no response, she asked the neighbor to check on them. The neighbor knocked on their door.
Hello, is anyone home? Hello?
But received no response either. After finishing the school drop-off route for the day, the Tans rushed back home to check on the children.
They are probably still asleep or got up themselves. Let's not panic. We'll go check on them, alright?
Something's not right. It's impossible for all 4 of them to not wake up after all my calls. I have a bad feeling about this. Let's hurry home.
The minibus rolled to a stop in a parking lot. Heart pounding, Mrs. Tan burst out of the vehicle and sprinted towards their flat. Mr. Tan followed closely, his own pace quickened by his wife's urgency. As they reached the front door, Mrs. Tan's trembling hands fumbled with the keys. As she entered her home, she shouted out her children's names, hoping for a response.
Chin Ni, Kok Peng, Kok Hin, Kok Sun, where are you?
To her dismay, only silence greeted her. Holding her breath, she opened the bedroom door, hoping to see her children sleeping peacefully. But when she was greeted with an empty room, her heart sank. Mr. Tan's attempts to comfort her were futile, as his own anxiety grew. The kitchen was the final place that they searched. Moving through the small space, a faint, insistent dripping sound pulled their attention to the bathroom. With a growing sense of unease, they pushed open the door. What awaited them there will be a haunting image etched forever in their minds. Their 4 children were found with at least 20 deep slashes each on their bodies, inflicted by what appeared to be a chopper and a dagger. Chin Ni, the only daughter, had slashes on her face, and Kok Peng, the eldest, had his right arm nearly severed. The Criminal Investigation Department concluded that the murderer had taken care to avoid leaving any traces of themselves behind, such as the murder weapons. Police investigations found bloodstains in the bathroom sink, suggesting that the killer cleaned themselves before they left. This scene was a horrific sight, leaving a deep impact on all who witnessed it, including the police.
It's so sickening to see the dead little children. The scene was really gruesome. It's just terrible.
There were no signs of forced entry, and the flat was neither ransacked nor any items found stolen. The details extracted from the scene suggested that the children knew the murderer personally and let them in. This also implied that the murderer had one motive: to kill the children. As the investigation unfolded, one particularly disturbing detail came to light. The eldest son, Kok Peng, seemed to have resisted the killer. He was found with strands of hair clutched in his hands. Investigators initially considered this a crucial lead, suspecting it might be the murderer's hair. However, a revelation soon followed.
This is the Forensics Department reporting to the police. From our analysis, we have concluded that the hair found in Kok Peng's hand were of his own and not the attacker, possibly in an attempt to defend himself.
This discovery left the entire community in shock and mourning. The authorities faced immense pressure to find the perpetrator of this heinous crime. With no witnesses and no substantial evidence, the case remained challenging to solve. Despite the intensive efforts of the police, the investigation reached a standstill. The murderer remained in the shadows, hidden by a veil of mystery and silence. Two weeks after the murder, the Tans received a chilling reminder of their loss. A letter written in Mandarin, disguised as a New Year's gift card, arrived at their home.
现在你不能 Now you can have no more offspring. Ha ha ha.
The letter referenced a deeply personal and painful secret. Mrs. Tan had undergone sterilization after the birth of her fourth child, a detail known only to close friends and relatives. This disturbing message indicated that the perpetrator must have been someone who knew the family intimately, adding another layer of horror to the already gruesome crime. Another theory suggests that the killer was intimately familiar with the building's routine. It's possible they knew that Yam Yin Tin, an elderly neighbor often seen keeping watch over the children, was a potential obstacle. Her absence on that fateful day may not have been coincidental, but rather a calculated move by the murderer. These raised suspicions that the crime was meticulously planned, with the killer taking advantage of her temporary absence. Over the years, the investigation continued, with police revisiting old leads and hoping for new information. 15 years after the murders, a fresh appeal was made to the public for any information that could help solve the case.
Reporting live from ABC News. We are actively seeking witnesses who may have information about the Geylang murders that occurred in 1979. We urge anyone with any details to come forward and assist in the investigation on the murders. You can send the information to abcnews@gmail.com or contact your neighborhood police station. Thank you.
Despite efforts, the case remains one of Singapore's most infamous unsolved mysteries. The chilling brutality of the murders, coupled with the lack of solid evidence, has left both the authorities and the public with more questions than answers. The Tan siblings, Chin Ni, Kok Peng, Kok Hin, and Kok Sun, were 4 young lives tragically cut short in a brutal and senseless act. To this day, their killer remains unidentified, leaving haunting questions. How could such a horrific crime occur within the confines of a seemingly ordinary home? How were there no witnesses or evidence? The answers, it seems, will forever remain shrouded in mystery. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of Singapore's most chilling unsolved crimes. Stay tuned for more true crime tales, where we delve into the darkest corners of human history. I'm Huda binti Abdullah. This has been True Crime Tales.